Listening Task 2. Off-road vocabulary.
All right, let's unpack this. Imagine you're standing on the edge of the vast, rugged landscape of Moab, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is just starting to warm the slick rock, and your rig is purring, ready for adventure. You've got that undeniable spirit of exploration coursing through your veins, but then it hits you. Are you speaking the language of the trail?
Right.
Because out here, the right words are as crucial as the right gear.
That's so true. What's truly powerful about specialized language, especially in a world like off-roading, is how it doesn't just describe, it empowers.
Empowers, yeah.
We've meticulously curated a list here of 50 essential terms for this deep dive. Think of it not just as a vocabulary lesson, but as a shortcut to mastering the nuances of off-roading.
Okay.
It's about building confidence, ensuring safety, and deeply engaging with every rock, every rut, and every magnificent vista.
Yeah, it's not just memorizing words.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the concepts that allow you to conquer, any challenging environment with skill and grace.
Yeah. That's right. For you, our intrepid listener, our mission today is to equip you with that very vocabulary because, let's be honest, knowing the specific lingo is as crucial as having the right tires or a powerful winch when you're tackling something as legendary as the Moab Rim.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start by getting right under the hood, really intimately familiarizing ourselves with the anatomy of your off-road machine.
Know your rig.
Exactly. Then we'll move on to the precise techniques you'll need to navigate the trail.
The how-to.
After that, we'll immerse ourselves in the unique, breathtaking language of Moab's geology itself.
Which is a whole thing on its own.
Oh, totally. Before wrapping up with a look at the vibrant culture that truly defines the off-roading community, our goal is for you to walk away from this deep dive not just informed, but genuinely ready to understand and appreciate the world of off-roading, armed with those surprising facts and definitive aha moments.
Nice.
So buckle up. It's going to be a fantastic ride.
Let's do it.
Before we even dream of hitting that iconic red dirt, you absolutely have to know your machine.
Foundational.
It's like a seasoned mountaineer knowing every knot and carabiner, or a deep-sea diver understanding every gauge on their tank.
Right. Your life depends on it sometime.
Exactly. This first set of terms isn't just about what you call parts. It's about understanding the very heart and soul of your off-road adventure vehicle.
Okay. Where do we start?
Let's kick things off with the absolute foundation. 4x4. Or 4x4.
The classic.
Now, for anyone thinking about serious off-roading, this isn't just a number. It's the core capability of a vehicle with a drivetrain that provides power to all four wheels.
All-wheel power.
It's that fundamental ability to ensure all-wheel power for maximum grip. My dream adventure rig has always been a proper 4x4. Frankly, I have no interest in getting stranded out in the backcountry.
Me either.
We once rented a standard car for a mountain trip, and when a freak snowstorm hit, well, we immediately regretted not having a good 4x4 to handle those slick, unplowed roads. Big mistake.
Oh yeah, big difference. And if we think about the evolution of vehicle capability, the 4x4 system is fundamentally about power distribution, right? For a long time, it was the gold standard. Now, you hear all-wheel drive, or AWD, a lot, but a true 4x4, especially with the proper transfer case, usually offers a dedicated low range.
That low range is key.
It really is. It multiplies the torque, which AWB systems generally don't do in the same way. And that difference becomes critical when you need extreme power at very slow speeds, like crawling over huge rocks or powering through super deep mud. You need that heavy traction.
Totally. It's that mechanical robustness.
Exactly. That selectable capability really differentiates a 4x4 from most AWDs for serious stuff.
Okay. Speaking of traction, what connects your rig to the ground is paramount. And for most of us, that means all-terrain tires, or ATs.
The workhorse tire.
Yeah, these are those wonderfully versatile tires designed to perform both on-road and off-road. They're the true jack-of-all-trades for anyone who daily drives, but also, yearns for adventure.
Right. The weekend warrior setup.
Yeah, exactly. I chose AT tires for my truck because my routine involves a mix of highway commutes and then, on the weekends, exploring various forest trails and gravel roads.
Makes sense.
And for our family's recent cross-country road trip, it included everything from paved interstates to dusty back roads and even some light snow. AT tires were truly the only sensible choice, offering that perfect balance of capability and comfort.
Yeah, this brings up that important question of compromise, doesn't it?
Always a trade-off.
An AT tire is really a brilliant engineering balance. The tread pattern is aggressive enough for good grip on loose stuff, dirt, gravel, light mud, thanks to those larger blocks. But it's not so aggressive that it howls on the highway or wears out super fast on pavement.
Right, you don't want that constant drone.
Exactly. Plus, they usually have better puncture resistance than street tires, but they're way smoother and quieter on the road than, say, mud tires.
Making them the go-to for most folks.
Yeah, for the majority of recreational off-roaders who need their vehicle to do double duty, it's the ideal choice.
Now, here's a word that truly captures the graceful movement of an off-road vehicle. Articulation.
Ooh, good one. Flex.
Yeah, flex. This refers to the ability of a vehicle's suspension to flex and allow its wheels to maintain contact with uneven ground.
Keeping rubber on the rod.
Exactly. It's like watching a spider walk over uneven terrain, its legs adapting. That old Jeep Cherokee we saw climbing the waterfall trail had absolutely incredible articulation. Its wheels seemed to hug every single boulder, never losing touch.
That's what you want to see.
And when we were navigating that deep, uneven ditch, our vehicle's articulation kept all 4 tires gripping the ground, preventing any loss of traction and keeping us moving forward. That was key.
Absolutely. What's really fascinating about articulation is its direct impact on both traction and stability.
How so?
Well, when a vehicle articulates well, its suspension can move independently a long way up and down. This keeps all the tires on the ground, right? So you maintain consistent power delivery. Without good articulation, a wheel lifts off the ground over an obstacle. Then all the power goes to that spinning, useless wheel.
And you're stuck.
Bingo! So for enthusiasts, seeing impressive flex, the slang term, often signifies a highly capable rig, especially in technical terrain.
Right. Solid axles used to be the king for that.
Historically, yes. They're known for superior articulation compared to independent suspension setups, though modern independent systems are getting really, really good.
Okay, cool. Absolutely crucial to any vehicle's strength, especially when you're pushing its limits off-road, is the axle.
The backbone. Well, one of them.
Yeah, fundamentally the shaft or assembly on which the wheels rotate, but it's way more than just a spinning rod. It's a foundational part of the vehicle's entire skeleton bearing immense loads.
Takes beating?
Oh, yeah. We once heard a genuinely terrifying clunking sound coming from the rear, and it turned out to be a bent axle from hitting a submerged rock too hard in a river crossing.
Ouch. Expensive lesson.
Very. A mistake we won't repeat. If you're serious about rock crawling or carrying heavy overland loads, investing in strong, aftermarket axles is absolutely essential. They're constantly under stress.
For sure. And the axle assembly isn't just that simple shaft, right? It's a whole system. The housing, the differential inside the axle shafts themselves that transmit the torque.
Right, all connected.
And for off-roaders, the strength and type of axle are critical. We talk about things like full float versus semi-float axles, or different axle types like a Dana 44 versus a stronger Dana 60.
Right, different ratings.
Exactly, each designed for different load capacities and stress. The integrity of your axles dictates your vehicle's durability, especially when one wheel suddenly loses traction and all that power and stress shifts dramatically to the other wheel on that axle.
Yeah, that's when things break.
Precisely. Without robust axles, you're looking at trail-stopping breakages.
Okay. When it comes to protecting your rig, especially the vital bits, the bumper becomes more than just a cosmetic piece.
Functional armor.
Yeah. It's the protective bar at the front and back, but for off-road vehicles, these are almost always heavy-duty steel designed to withstand serious impacts.
Gotta be tough.
I upgraded my front bumper to a solid steel one after I scraped the factory plastic on a deceptively large tree root hidden in the mud. Barely saved my radiator.
Close call.
And that new aftermarket bumper also includes a crucial winch mount, which is super handy for recovery situations because, let's face it, getting stuck is kind of part of the fun sometimes.
It happens. And yeah, off-road bumpers are a declaration of intent. They're not just for looks or parking lot bumps. They are robust structural components.
Right.
They protect vital systems like radiators, steering components, maybe intercoolers, and provide solid mounting for winches. Plus, they're designed to improve approach and departure angles.
We'll get to those angles later.
We will.
Yeah.
And they often integrate crucial recovery points, like D-rings or shackle mounts, which are essential for safe winching and towing. A good bumper signals readiness for tough conditions.
Definitely. Diving even deeper into the vehicle's structural integrity, we hit the chassis.
The foundation itself.
This is the fundamental base frame of a motor vehicle, the very foundation upon which everything else, engine, transmission, suspension, body is built. For a truly durable off-road rig, especially one designed to take a real beating, you absolutely want a strong ladder frame chassis.
Known for its toughness.
Yeah, renowned for its torsional rigidity. Our entire aftermarket suspension system bolts directly to this chassis, meaning every single impact and force from the train is ultimately transferred and absorbed by this backbone.
It literally is the backbone. It provides the essential rigidity and mounting points for everything. And in off-roading, the choice between a traditional body-on-frame chassis and a unibody construction is often a key difference.
Right, like trucks versus most modern SUVs.
Exactly. Body-on-frame found in most trucks and classic SUVs like older Jeeps or Land Cruisers offers superior strength, durability, and ease of modification for extreme use. The frame can twist and flex somewhat independently of the body. Unibody vehicles, while lighter and often more comfortable on the road, are generally less robust for heavy off-road abuse because the body and frame are integrated. They can be more susceptible to structural fatigue under extreme stress.
Good distinction. Okay, next up, a piece of mechanical genius that often goes unnoticed until you really need it or it breaks. The differential, or affectionately the diff.
The pumpkin.
Yeah, bumpkin. This is a sophisticated set of gears that allows the wheels on the same axle to rotate at different speeds when turning.
Crucial for cornering.
Absolutely essential for smooth cornering, paved road, or loose trail. When you're making a sharp turn, the outside wheel has to travel further than the inside one, right?
Yep, longer path.
The differential allows it to spin faster, preventing tire scrub and strain on the drivetrain. You can subtly feel the differential working even when you're just making a tight U-turn in a parking lot.
True. And this raises that important question. Why do vehicles even need a differential?
Right. Seems simple.
Without it, both wheels on an axle would be forced to rotate at the exact same speed. When turning, the outer wheel would inevitably slip or scrub to cover the greater distance.
Which is bad for tires and handling.
Totally. Leads to tire wear, drivetrain binding, unpredictable handling. But the differential's very function, letting wheels spin independently, becomes a liability off-road.
The flip side.
Exactly. If one wheel loses traction, say it's on ice or hanging in the air, all the power follows the path of least resistance to that spinning wheel, leaving you completely stuck.
The dreaded one-wheel peel.
Precisely. And this fundamental characteristic leads directly to the need for its opposite number, the locking differential.
We'll definitely get to lockers.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the entire power delivery system of your vehicle, the drivetrain.
All the bits that make it go?
Yeah. This refers to the interconnected group of components that deliver power from the engine all the way to the wheels. It's a complex chain of parts working in harmony.
Engine, trans, axles.
Right. We had to replace a few parts in our drivetrain after that particularly gnarly, muddy section of the trail where it was absolutely put to the test, grinding through thick sludge.
Mud is hard on things.
Very. Ensuring your drivetrain is meticulously maintained fresh fluids, no leaks, properly lubed U-joints is absolutely key to reliable off-road performance and avoiding a breakdown miles from anywhere.
Oh, absolutely critical maintenance. And what's fascinating is how the drivetrain is this symphony of parts. Engine, transmission, transfer case, drive shafts, axles, differentials.
All working together.
Each plays a crucial role managing torque, speed, power delivery, adapting to different surfaces and resistance. For a knowledgeable off-roader, understanding the whole drivetrain means appreciating how torque is multiplied, how it's distributed, and where potential weak links might be under stress.
Knowing where it might fail.
Right. A robust, well-maintained drivetrain is the lifeblood of a capable off-road vehicle.
Good point. Next up, the often underestimated but incredibly functional fender flares.
Keep the mud off, mostly.
Yeah, mostly. These are extensions for the fenders, that part of the body framing the wheels, primarily designed to prevent mud, water, and rocks from being flung up by your tires. They act like serious mud guards. After installing those wider, more aggressive mud terrain tires, I definitely needed fender flares to stay legal on the road, and more importantly, to keep the copious amounts of mud off the side of the truck.
Keeps the paint nicer for longer.
And keeps things safer. Without good fender flares, our entire windshield would have been caked in mud after that last creek crossing, not to mention the constant pelting of rocks.
Yeah, while they might seem cosmetic, fender flares serve a crucial practical and safety purpose, especially with bigger, aggressive tires. They contain the debris those tires throw up.
Protects others on the trail, too.
Exactly. It's not just keeping your rig clean, it's protecting other vehicles from thrown gravel, preventing damage to your own paint or windshield. Plus, in many places, they're legally required if your tires stick out past the body.
Good point. Practical necessity. Okay, when you're assessing any off-road vehicle's true capability, one of the first and most vital numbers you'll look at is its ground clearance.
How high does it sit?
Precisely. This is quite simply the distance between the lowest point of the vehicle's underside, often the differential housing, and the ground. Higher clearance means you can go over taller obstacles without scraping.
Less scraping is good.
Very good. That boulder ahead looks far too tall. I don't think we have enough ground clearance to get over it without causing some significant damage underneath.
Time to find another line.
Yep. When I was shopping for my current off-road vehicle, excellent ground clearance was one of the very first things I looked for, knowing the types of challenging trails I wanted to tackle.
Right. And connecting this to the bigger picture, ground clearance is paramount for off-roading. It's a direct measure of what obstacles you can physically traverse. Now, the advertised ground clearance might be to the frame or a skid plate, but for experienced off-roaders, the real lowest point is usually that differential housing, the pumpkin, which is fixed.
Right, hangs down there.
Understanding that lets you choose your line carefully, making sure that vulnerable component doesn't get hung up. It dictates the size of rocks, logs, ruts you can clear without costly damage. Key metric.
Definitely. And to significantly boost that crucial ground clearance, many off-road enthusiasts turn to a lift kit.
Getting higher.
Yeah, this is a comprehensive set of parts used to raise the height of a vehicle's suspension, or sometimes its body, effectively giving the vehicle stilts to stand taller.
Allows for bigger tires too.
Big reason for it. I installed a quality lift kit on my truck last year, and now I can easily clear those deep ruts and formidable obstacles that used to give me serious pause.
Makes a huge difference.
That custom build we saw at the last Off-Road Expo had an absolutely impressive lift kit, allowing it to run massive tires that simply wouldn't fit otherwise. Looked incredible.
Looked capable too. But this raises that important question again, compromise. While a lift kit undeniably boosts ground clearance and allows for bigger tires,
There's a but.
there's a but. Raising the vehicle significantly alters its center of gravity.
Makes it tippier.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
More susceptible to body roll, less stable, especially on those unnerving off-camber sections. Plus, lifting can impact driveline angles, potentially causing vibrations or premature wear on U-joints, CV axles. A well-engineered lift kit accounts for these factors, often including parts to correct geometry.
But it's something to consider.
Absolutely. It's a modification that requires careful thought about its implications for handling, safety, and long-term reliability, not just about looks.
Good advice. Now, for the ultimate traction, especially when you're staring down a slippery, uneven obstacle, you want a locking differential, often just called a locker.
The traction king.
Yeah. This ingenious device allows you to lock the differential, forcing both wheels on an axle to turn at the exact same speed. Maximum traction in the toughest conditions.
No more one-wheel peel.
Exactly. When one of our wheels started spinning helplessly in that deep, gooey mud, I quickly engaged the rear locking differential, and we immediately gained traction. Pulled ourselves right out.
Save the day.
Totally. You truly need at least one locker, if not two, for serious rock crawling. Otherwise, you'll just be wasting power on a spinning tire as soon as one wheel loses grip.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is how a locker temporarily overrides the differential's normal function, which, as we said, lets wheels spin independently.
Right, it forces them together.
By forcing both wheels on an axle to rotate at the same speed, a locker ensures all available power goes to the wheel with traction, even if the other wheel is completely airborne or on slick ice.
Critical.
Absolutely critical in low traction situations, and for precise, slow-speed maneuvers. It prevents that common scenario where all engine power is wasted on the wheel with no grip. It's a game changer for extreme traction, often the single most impactful mod for serious capability.
Yeah, I believe it. Now, when you're facing truly gnarly terrain, think deep mud, loose sand, jagged rocks, you need a specialist, and that's where the mud terrain tire, or MT, comes in.
The aggressive choice.
Yeah, this is a tire characterized by its large, aggressive, widely spaced tread blocks, designed for maximum traction in those extreme conditions. It's definitely the specialist tire.
Built for the rough stuff.
Those new MT tires on our buddy's rig chewed right through that soupy deep trail like it was nothing, digging for grip even where we were struggling.
Big difference in mud.
Huge. However, you absolutely wouldn't want MT tires for your daily highway commute. They're incredibly noisy, they tend to vibrate, and they wear out remarkably quickly on pavement.
Yeah, major trade-offs there for on-road comfort and longevity.
For sure.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, MT tires are a prime example of form following extreme function. Those deep, widely spaced treads are specifically designed to clean themselves out as the tire rotates.
Slinging mud everywhere.
Yeah. Pretty much, ejecting mud and debris to prevent packing in and losing traction. The aggressive side lugs add grip in deep ruts or when climbing out of sticky spots.
So they sacrifice on-road manners for pure off-road grip.
Exactly. For dedicated enthusiasts tackling the most challenging environments, an MT tire is indispensable. Truly unlocks the vehicle's potential in really bad conditions.
Safety first, always, especially when you're pushing the limits on aggressive trails. That brings us to the roll cage.
Crucial safety gear for extreme stuff.
Yeah, this is a robust, protective frame built either inside or sometimes around the exterior of the cabin, designed specifically to protect occupants in the event of a rollover. It's that critical safety net you hope you never ever need.
But you're glad it's there if you do.
Profoundly grateful. For the really extreme trails where rollovers are a distinct possibility due to steep angles or off-camber sections, a custom roll cage is an absolute non-negotiable safety feature.
Peace of mind.
Definitely. You feel much safer navigating tricky off-camber descents knowing your rig has a robust roll cage protecting you and your passengers.
Right. And this raises that important question about preparedness and risk mitigation in extreme off-roading. While we always hope to stay upright,
Wheels side down.
preferably, a roll cage is vital, even mandatory, in competitive or extreme recreational off-roading. Its primary purpose is maintaining cabin integrity, preventing crushing injuries during a rollover.
Distributes the impact forces.
Exactly, away from the passenger compartment. It's a significant investment, cost and modification-wise, but it reflects a serious commitment to safety. Invaluable peace of mind when pushing limits.
Well said. Speaking of protection, every serious off-roader knows the invaluable nature of skid plates.
Underbody armor.
Yep, this is a piece of tough metal armor, typically steel or aluminum, securely attached to the underside to protect vital components from direct impacts with rocks, stumps, etc. The vehicle's underbody shield.
Protects the expensive bits.
Does it ever? My transfer case was undeniably saved from catastrophic damage by the stout skid plate when we scraped hard over a sharp hidden rock on a blind crest.
That could have ended the trip right there.
Easily. Before tackling any serious technical trail, I always make it a point to physically inspect all my skid plates, make sure they're secure and haven't been bent out of shape.
Smart pre-trip check. What's fascinating here is how skid plates act as sacrificial armor.
Take the hit.
Exactly.
Well-
They're strategically designed to take the brunt of impacts, preventing direct contact with vulnerable stuff like oil pans, transmissions, fuel tanks, exhaust.
Things you really don't want punctured.
Definitely not. Rather than suffering costly repairs, a dented or scraped skid plate means it's doing its job perfectly, letting you slide over obstacles that might otherwise cause major damage.
And they come in steel or aluminum, right?
Yeah, steel for maximum strength, aluminum for weight savings. Another one of those nuanced decisions in off-road prep.
Okay. Now let's talk about the unsung hero of both comfort and control. The suspension.
Huge impact on ride and capability.
Yeah, the entire system of springs, shock absorbers, linkages connecting the chassis to the wheels, responsible for both ride quality and handling, especially on rough terrain.
Keeps things smooth. Ish.
Yeah, relatively smooth.
Yeah.
A well-tuned suspension system is absolutely key to a controlled ride, even on the roughest, bone-jarring washboard roads. Absorbs impacts, keeps tires grounded. We spent countless hours adjusting the custom suspension on our rig, trying to optimize it specifically for low-speed rock crawling, balancing maximum articulation with precise damping. It's a constant tweak.
Always tuning. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the suspension is the vehicle's dynamic link to the terrain. It manages wheel travel, letting wheels move independently.
Articulation again.
Yep. It absorbs shocks and vibrations for comfort and control. And most importantly, it works to keep the tires in consistent contact with the ground.
Which means traction.
Exactly. Directly influencing both comfort and crucial off-road capability. A well-tuned suspension means better traction, greater stability, enhanced control, safer and more effective navigation.
Got it. Something that can be both a friend on the highway and a foe on the trail is the sway bar.
Anti-roll bar, yeah.
This is part of the suspension designed primarily to reduce body roll during cornering on smooth surfaces, greatly enhancing on-road stability. keeps the vehicle stable and flat.
Better road manners.
Definitely. On the highway, my sway bar keeps the truck from leaning too much around fast corners, makes it feel planted and predictable.
But off-road.
But off-road, for extreme stuff, many experienced drivers actually disconnect their sway bar.
Why's that?
For much more articulation on slow-speed technical trails, sacrifices those on-road manners for pure off-road flexibility.
Right. And this raises that question of engineering compromise again. Beneficial for on-road stability, but a sway bar significantly limits wheel articulation off-road.
Ties the two sides together.
Effectively, yes, restricting their independent vertical movement. For serious rock crawling, this restriction can lift a wheel off the ground, causing loss of traction.
Not what you want.
Not at all, which is precisely why many modern off-road vehicles now feature electronically controlled or quick disconnect sway bar systems.
Best of both worlds.
Trying to be, yeah. Superb stability on pavement, maximum articulation when you need it most on the trail.
Smart tech. Okay. Arguably, the easiest, cheapest, and most impactful adjustment you can make for off-road performance is managing your tire pressure.
Simple but profound.
Yeah, just the amount of air inside your tires, measured in PSI. Intentionally lowering this, often called airing down, dramatically increases traction off-road.
Huge difference.
Always check your tire pressure before any long trip, especially if you're hitting the trails. Impacts everything from safety to fuel economy on pavement.
A standard procedure.
Maintaining the manufacturer's recommended pressure is crucial for paved roads, but off-road, it's a whole different strategy to unlock your tire's potential.
Right. What's fascinating here is how seemingly simple tire pressure has such profound and counterintuitive effects off-road.
How so?
When you air down, you intentionally reduce the pressure. The tire bulges, lengthens its footprint, distributes the vehicle's weight over a much larger contact patch.
More rubber meets the road. Or rock.
Exactly. Dramatically increases grip on loose surfaces like sand, mud, uneven rocks. The tire conforms to obstacles, kind of wraps around them.
Plus, it smooths out the ride.
Big time. Acts as an additional shock absorber, significantly improving ride comfort over bumpy terrain. It's a critical aha moment for many new off-roaders, but
Got an airbag cup.
critically important. Always reinflate tires to proper pressure for on-road driving to prevent overheating, instability, and potential tire damage or failure.
Safety first. Okay, at the very heart of any true 4x4, you'll find the transfer case.
The magic box.
Yeah, essentially a specialized gearbox that splits power from the transmission, sending it to both the front and rear axles. It's the control center for the whole 4x4 system.
Gives you options.
Crucial options. I clearly remember shifting the transfer case into low range to climb that impossibly steep, rocky incline. We absolutely needed every ounce of torque.
That's what it's for.
The transfer case is what gives you the vital option to go from standard two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive high, or even four-wheel drive low, depending on the conditions.
Right. Connecting this to the bigger picture, the transfer case is the true heart of a 4x4 system, unlocks its full capability. It's the critical component letting the driver select the right drive mode and gear ratio, allows selection between 2WD for highway efficiency, 4WD high for general slippery conditions or light trails,
And the big one.
and most importantly, 4WD low for maximum torque and slow speeds. It transforms a standard vehicle into a highly capable crawler. The low-range gears multiply engine torque dramatically.
Lets you climb anything. Almost.
Pretty much. Conquer steep climbs, descend safely, navigate obstacles impossible in 2WD.
Indispensable. And finally, for our vehicle anatomy section, a truly vital piece of recovery gear, almost a rite of passage, the winch.
Your get-out-of-jail-free card.
Sometimes feels like it. This is a powerful motorized pulling device, typically mounted to the front, used primarily for self-recovery or recovering others. Your ultimate mechanical helping hand.
When you're really stuck.
Oh, yeah. We found ourselves stuck axle deep in that incredibly thick, gooey mud. But luckily, we had a powerful winch to slowly but surely pull ourselves out.
Better than digging all day.
Way better. Always carry a good set of heavy-duty gloves and adhere to strict safety protocols when operating a winch. There's immense tension involved.
Yeah.
Safety is paramount.
Cannot stress that enough. Winch safety is huge. And this raises that important question about self-reliance on the trail. A winch is maybe the most vital recovery tool. Represents true independence.
What's to get yourself unstuck?
Exactly. Allows a single vehicle to extricate itself from tough situations where no help is around, can pull you out of deep mud, up steep inclines, over obstacles you can't drive. Its raw power turns a potential breakdown into a solvable challenge. Indispensable gear for serious off-roaders.
Absolutely. Okay, now that we've got our vehicle meticulously dialed in, understood its core components, let's talk about the how.
The driving part.
Yeah, because off-roading isn't just about having the right gear. It's about mastering the right techniques and understanding the language of navigating challenging terrain.
Skill makes a big difference.
These terms will help you understand the precise dynamics of being on the trail and making those calculated moves.
All right, let's hear them.
Our first technique for better off-road performance: airing down.
We touched on this with tire pressure.
Exactly. This means intentionally reducing your tire pressure to increase the tire's footprint and significantly improve traction on surfaces like deep sand, loose gravel, or slick rocks.
Bigger footprint, more grip.
Before hitting that expansive sandy wash, we made sure to diligently start airing down our tires for optimal flotation and maximum grip. Took a few minutes, but worth it.
Always is.
You'll instantly feel a colossal difference in grip, especially on those challenging slick rock climbs, once you've properly aired down.
Yeah.
It's almost like the tire just melts and conforms perfectly over the obstacle.
Yeah, it really does. And what's fascinating, again, is that counterintuitive nature. On pavement, low pressure is dangerous heat buildup, instability.
Right.
But off-road, its strategic advantage allows the tire to conform, distributes weight over a larger patch, dramatically increases grip.
And the softer ride is nice, too.
Definitely. Acts as an auxiliary shock absorber, improves comfort. A critical aha moment for new off-roaders is realizing how much control and capability they gain. Just remember.
Air back up for the highway.
Always. Don't skip that step.
Okay. When you're preparing to tackle an obstacle, especially a steep ascent, you absolutely need to consider your vehicle's approach angle.
How steep can you start climbing?
Exactly. Defined as the maximum angle of a ramp or obstacle that a vehicle can climb without its front bumper or any part of its front undercarriage hitting. It's all about your entry capability.
Don't want to plow into it.
Nope. That sheer cliff face ahead looks incredibly intimidating. Yeah. I'm genuinely not sure our current rig's approach angle is steep enough to clear it without dragging the bumper.
Might need to find a different line or stack some rocks.
Could be. My new custom rig has an absolutely excellent approach angle, thanks to its short front overhang and high-mounted bumper, so steep ascents are now much less of a worry. Makes a big difference.
Huge. And connecting this to the bigger picture approach angle, along with departure and breakover angles we'll get to, those are fundamental geometric metrics.
Defines what you can tackle.
Right. Defines a vehicle's inherent ability to tackle obstacles without scraping or damage. A superior approach angle lets you start climbs on steeper slopes or navigate ledges without getting hung up right at the start.
Opens up more trails.
Directly impacts your line choice, yeah. Opens up more adventurous paths. Knowing these angles for your specific vehicle is as important as knowing your tire pressure.
Good analogy. Now, the last thing any off-roader wants to experience is to bottom out.
That horrible scraping sound.
Ugh, yeah. This happens when the vehicle's suspension is fully compressed, hits its limit, and the chassis, or a vulnerable component beneath it, makes forceful contact with the ground or an obstacle. A hard landing.
Often comes with a bang.
Totally. We hit that unexpected dip a little too fast after a blind crest and really bottomed out. I desperately hoped nothing was broken underneath. Jarring impact.
Checks the undercarriage anxiously afterwards.
You betcha. You'll often hear a loud, metallic clunking noise if you bottom out on a compression. A sound no off-roader ever wants to hear.
Nope. And this raises that important question about understanding vehicle limits. Bottoming out indicates the suspension has reached maximum travel and the chassis or drivetrain parts are taking the hit.
Can cause serious damage.
Significant, often costly damage to diffs, transfer cases, fuel tanks, exhaust, if done repeatedly or violently. It underscores the critical importance of careful speed management, knowing your ground clearance and your suspension limits.
Got to know your rig and drive accordingly.
Exactly, especially when navigating unpredictable terrain or committing to a challenging line.
Okay. For ultimate precise control on the absolute toughest terrain, you'll heavily rely on your vehicle's crawl ratio.
Getting technical now?
Yeah. This refers to the lowest possible gear ratio available in a vehicle, specifically designed to provide maximum torque at incredibly low speeds. Crucial for controlled rock crawling.
Super slow, super powerful.
With its phenomenally low crawl ratio, that purpose-built rock rig can literally inch its way up almost anything, barely ticking over the engine, with astonishing control.
Amazing to watch.
A truly good crawl ratio is absolutely essential for precise, slow, deliberate movements over highly technical obstacles, where a sudden surge of speed or loss of control could lead to breakage or worse.
Right. what's fascinating is how a high crawl ratio allows for almost unbelievable precision. It's calculated by multiplying the transmission's lowest gear, the transfer case's low range ratio, and the axle's final drive ratio.
Lots of multiplication.
Yeah, it multiplies engine torque to an extreme degree, enables the vehicle to move at fractions of a mile per hour, literally crawling over obstacles with immense power at the wheels.
Crucial for delicate maneuvers.
Absolutely. Where a sudden jerk could lead to trouble. Allows the driver to focus entirely on precise wheel placement and line choice rather than frantically managing the throttle. Makes impossible climbs manageable.
Very cool. Just as vital as your approach angle, especially when you're exiting a steep obstacle, is your departure angle.
The opposite end. Can you get off it cleanly?
Exactly. The maximum angle of a ramp or obstacle from which a vehicle could descend without its rear bumper or any part of its rear undercarriage hitting relates directly to the exit capability.
Avoid dragging your tail.
Yep. We realized we had to take a completely different line down that particular obstacle because our departure angle wasn't sufficient. We would have undoubtedly dragged the rear bumper and probably the hitch.
Could rip the bumper right off sometimes.
Oh yeah. After successfully clearing the top of a steep climb, you still need to meticulously watch your departure angle on the way down to avoid dragging or snagging crucial components.
Right. Connecting this to the bigger picture, departure angle is the inverse of approach angle, and equally crucial for successful descents and clean transitions off obstacles. A poor departure angle can lead to frustrating, vehicle-damaging contact as you transition off, especially if your vehicle has a long rear overhang or a low-slung hitch.
Like many pickup trucks.
Can be an issue, yeah. Vehicles with short rear overhangs and high tucked-in bumpers typically excel here, allowing cleaner exits. Managing this angle is vital for preventing damage.
Got it. Now, you'll often hear off-roaders enthusiastically talk about flex.
We mentioned it with articulation.
Exactly. It's the slang term for articulation.
Yeah.
More casual, dynamic, often celebratory way to describe that impressive wheel travel and suspension movement.
Looks cool, too.
Totally. Check out the sheer flex on that Jeep. One wheel is way up in the air while the others are still firmly on the ground, gripping, exclaimed our buddy.
Classic off-road scene.
We recently put our new custom suspension to the ultimate test on those staggered rocks, and it achieved some truly incredible flex, keeping all the tires on the ground and pushing us forward. Felt great.
Nice. This raises that point about casual terminology in communities. While articulation is the precise engineering term.
Flex is what everyone says.
Yeah, flex is the common, enthusiastic way off-roaders describe that impressive movement. Highlights the vehicle's capability to conform to uneven terrain, often celebrated as a sign of a well-built, capable rig.
A visual demonstration.
Exactly. Witnessing flex is a tangible demonstration of its ability to maintain traction and stability over extreme obstacles. Adds an exciting element.
Cool. A situation you absolutely desperately want to avoid on the trail is getting high-centered.
The worst feeling. Stuck in the middle.
Ugh, yeah. Happens when a vehicle gets stuck with its underside chassis, diff housing resting firmly on an obstacle, and its wheels lose traction because they're not touching the ground firmly enough, like being beached.
Wheels spinning uselessly.
Yep. We unfortunately got high-centered on that giant rock right in the middle of the trail last summer. Wheels just spinning helplessly in the air, going nowhere. So frustrating.
Requires recovery gear.
Usually. That deceptively deep rut made us high-centered almost immediately because our differential casing got completely hung up. Should have chosen a very different line. Lesson learned.
Yeah, what's fascinating is how common this is, especially for less experienced drivers or those pushing their vehicle's ground clearance and breakover angle limits.
Caught out.
Being high-centered means you've lost contact where it matters the tires, rendering your drivetrain useless. Emphasizes the importance of knowing your vehicle's dimensions, reading the terrain, choosing the optimal line.
And having recovery gear.
Indispensable then. Turns a frustrating stop into a solvable challenge. Proper planning and a good spotter can often prevent it.
Speaking of spotters, one of the most critical skills and strategic decisions on any technical trail is choosing your line.
The path you take.
Yeah, the specific, often very precise path the driver chooses to navigate through an obstacle or difficult section. Choosing the right route is absolutely key.
Makes all the difference.
Our experienced spotter helped us pick the perfect line through that incredibly tricky rock garden, meticulously telling us exactly where to place each tire for optimal grip and clearance.
Saved you some scrapes.
Definitely. Choosing the wrong line on that treacherous off-camber section could have been disastrous, potentially leading to a dangerous rollover. Scary thought.
Yeah. Connecting this to the bigger picture, choosing your line is arguably the most critical skill in technical off-roading. Transcends mere vehicle capability.
It's about the driver.
Big time. Involves keen spatial awareness, deep understanding of your vehicle's unique capabilities, its angles, wheelbase, ground clearance, flex, and anticipating how it will react to every rock and rut. A well-chosen line can make an impossible obstacle manageable, minimizing stress on components, preserving momentum, enhancing safety. It truly is the artistic element of off-road driving, knowledge and intuition.
Well put. For serious, slow-speed crawling power, especially on formidable inclines or descents, you'll absolutely engage low range, often simply called 4-low.
The crawler gear.
Yeah. This is a specialized setting in your transfer case providing maximum torque and extremely low speed, specifically for navigating the most challenging terrain. The ultimate power gear.
For the really tough spots.
We engage 4-low to slowly and meticulously descend that extremely steep, loose, and rocky hill, allow the vehicle to crawl down with incredible control.
Engine braking helps too.
Absolutely. For crossing deep rivers or scaling large, intimidating ledges, 4-low gives you maximum control and power, preventing stalls or losing precious traction.
Right. This raises that question about mechanical advantage and control. 4-low gears dramatically multiply engine torque, allowing incredibly slow, precise movements without the engine straining or needing excessive RPM.
Essential for climbing steep grades.
And safely descending slippery slopes where control is paramount. Or navigating extremely technical obstacles where precise, incremental movement is crucial.
Gives the driver immense control.
Yeah, overspeed and power delivery. Prevents sudden surges that could lead to wheel spin, loss of traction, or instability.
Okay. Conversely, you have high range, or 4-high.
The faster 4x4 mode?
This is another useful setting in your transfer case, typically used for higher speeds on less challenging off-road surfaces or slippery roads where maximum torque isn't needed. Your cruising gear for dirt roads.
Good for gravel or snowy road.
Exactly. Once we successfully navigated out of the really muddy technical section, I immediately shifted into 4-high for faster travel on the dirt road, where we could comfortably pick up some speed.
Makes sense.
On those snowy or icy back roads during winter, I often rely on 4-high for better traction and enhanced stability without having to reduce my speed too drastically.
Right. What's fascinating here is the versatility 4-high provides. It offers the enhanced traction of 4-wheel drive without the extreme gear reduction of 4-low.
Better for maintaining speed.
Perfectly suitable for gravel roads, light to moderate trails, or slippery conditions where maintaining some speed is desirable and efficient. It intelligently distributes power to all 4 wheels, improving stability and grip, but at gear ratios more suited for higher speeds.
The common choice for faster off-road travel.
Or inclement weather on unpaved surfaces, yeah. Provides a crucial balance of capability and efficiency.
Got it. On any trail, whether gentle forest path or brutal rock garden, you are absolutely bound to encounter an obstacle.
The fun part. Or the scary part.
Yeah, simply any challenge on the trail you must navigate: large rock, steep incline, water crossing, fallen tree, mud fit. The puzzles of off-roading.
Always something new.
That massive fallen tree became an unexpected obstacle on our path, forcing us to attempt a challenging, unplanned detour around it. Quite the adventure in itself.
Makes for good stories later.
Usually. The next obstacle on the map, according to our guide, is a notorious set of giant boulders known colloquially as Widowmaker.
Uh-oh. Sounds serious.
Definitely need to be prepared for that one.
Right. Connecting this to the bigger picture, every obstacle is indeed a puzzle to be solved. Demands keen observation, careful planning, often precise teamwork with the spotter. The profound challenge of overcoming these puzzles, analyzing the best line, understanding your vehicle's capabilities, executing those precise maneuvers is precisely what draws many to off-roading.
The satisfaction of getting through.
Exactly. A continuous test of machine and driver, fostering problem-solving skills, rewarding ingenuity. Makes each journey unique and engaging. Builds confidence.
True. One of the most nerve-wracking situations is an off-camber section.
Leaning sideways. Feels sketchy.
Totally. A section of trail that slopes severely sideways, causing your vehicle to tilt precariously. Tests your vehicle's balance and your nerve.
Heart in your throat moments.
Oh yeah. That last off-camber section felt unnervingly steep. I honestly thought we were going to roll if we weren't extremely careful with steering and throttle.
Gotta be smooth.
Extra careful with your line choice and maintain incredibly precise throttle control. It drastically shifts your center of gravity, and reduces stability.
Right. Raises a profoundly important question about vehicle stability and driver skill. Off-camber sections are particularly challenging because they shift the center of gravity sideways,
Making a rollover more likely.
significantly, if not navigated with precision. Demands meticulous steering, incredibly smooth throttle to avoid sudden weight shifts, and a calm demeanor. Any sudden movement or loss of traction can be dangerous.
Knowing your vehicle's tilt angle limit is key.
Absolutely crucial for safety. A key skill to develop for technical trails.
Okay. When things inevitably go wrong, which they sometimes do, you need to know about recovery.
Getting unstuck.
The systematic process of safely freeing a stuck vehicle, yours or a friend's, often involves specialized gear like a winch, recovery straps, maybe another vehicle, and always demands proper technique.
Safety is paramount in recovery.
Absolutely. Ever getting stuck axle deep in that muddy bog last spring, we spent a grueling hour on the recovery, meticulously using kinetic straps and a winch to painstakingly pull ourselves out. Hard work. You bet. Always carry the right rated gear for vehicle recovery straps, shackle, shovel, maybe traction boards, first aid kit before heading out alone, or to truly remote areas.
Be prepared. What's fascinating is recovery isn't just raw pulling, it's methodical. Requires understanding physics, proper use of gear, strict safety protocols.
Knowing how to use the equipment safely.
Critical. A successful recovery is a testament to preparedness, knowledge of gear limits, problem solving under pressure. Highlights the importance of training and practicing before you truly need it.
Turns a crisis into a manageable challenge.
Skill, calculated effort, often teamwork. Knowledge translates directly to success.
Yeah. One of the most iconic and demanding off-road activities, especially in Moab, is rock crawling.
Slow and steady wins the race over the rocks.
Huh. Yeah, the highly technical, slow-speed driving technique of meticulously navigating over large rocks, boulders, and formidable rock obstacles requires incredible precision driving.
And patience, lots of patience.
Oh, yeah. Moab is world-renowned for its incredible rock crawling trails, some of the best and most challenging anywhere. Attracts enthusiasts globally.
Bucket list destination for many.
You need a lot of patience, finesse, and incredibly delicate throttle control for proper rock crawling. It's less about speed, more like a slow-motion ballet over the rocks.
Well said. Connecting this to the bigger picture, rock crawling is truly an art form. It's about delicate throttle, precise steering, meticulously choosing the path of least resistance to prevent damage and maintain traction.
Demands intimate knowledge of your rig.
Yeah, it's precise dimensions, angles, articulation. Unlike high-speed stuff, it emphasizes calculated control, incremental movements, a masterclass in vehicle-to-terrain interaction.
Pushes driver and machine to the limits.
Where the synergy is tested, rewarding those who can read the trail and execute flawlessly.
For those extremely technical sections where visibility is limited, you'll rely heavily on your spotter,
Your eyes outside the vehicle.
an indispensable person outside the vehicle, guiding the driver through obstacles via clear hand signals and precise verbal directions. Literally your eyes on the ground.
Seeing what the driver can't.
Exactly. Having a good, trusted spotter is invaluable for navigating blind drops, tight squeezes between rocks, complex obstacle crossings.
Saves a lot of paint and parts.
Totally. Our spotter once saved us from scraping our precious differential on a jagged, hidden rock. Saw exactly what we couldn't from the driver's seat.
Right. This raises that important question about teamwork and trust. A spotter provides critical, real-time info the driver can't see, especially with steep angles or hidden obstacles right underneath.
Allows safer, more effective navigation.
Prevents costly damage, boosts driver confidence. It's a vital role in any off-road group, fostering camaraderie and collective safety.
Communication is key.
Effective communication, often through established hand signals, is paramount to success and safety.
Good point. A common pitfall, especially for beginners or those pushing limits on steep ascents, is to stall the engine.
Engine cuts out. Not ideal.
Nope. Simply when the engine stops running unexpectedly, often due to being in too high a gear, not enough throttle, or improper clutch engagement.
Can happen easily if you're not careful.
I accidentally stalled the engine trying to climb that steep loose hill in third gear last summer. Should have definitely been in low range.
Wrong gear choice.
A vehicle can easily stall if you don't give it enough throttle when engaging the clutch on a steep incline, leading to a potentially tricky, even dangerous situation if you start rolling backward.
Especially uphill. What's fascinating is that a stall, particularly on a steep incline, in deep water, or a precarious position, can be more than just inconvenient.
Can lead to a dangerous rollback.
If the driver isn't prepared to immediately hit the brakes or recover. Underscores the importance of proper gear selection, understanding your engine's power band, maintaining smooth momentum.
Mastering clutch control or throttle application.
Key to preventing stalls and maintaining safe progress. Modern vehicles often have hill hold assist to help, but the skill is still important.
Right. When a trail demands an exceptional level of skill and vehicle capability, we call it technical.
The really challenging stuff.
Describes a section of trail requiring precise driving, strategic line choice, and often specific vehicle modifications to successfully traverse. Definitely a challenging section, not for the faint of heart.
Separates the casuals from the hardcore.
That last section of the Hell's Revenge Trail was incredibly technical. Huge boulders, deep axle-twisting ruts, slippery rock faces genuinely tested our driving abilities to the limit.
Pucker factor high.
Oh yeah. Frankly, only experienced drivers with highly modified rigs should even attempt that particular technical climb. Absolutely not for stock vehicles or weekenders.
Right. Connecting this to the bigger picture, technical implies a significant challenge beyond what a stock vehicle or novice driver can typically handle.
Demands advanced driving skills.
Precise throttle and brake control, meticulous tire placement, strategic line choice, and often specific mods like lockers, more ground clearance armor, advanced suspension.
It's where the nuances really matter.
Pushing drivers and machines to their limits, rewarding mastery and careful preparation, where those aha moments often happen, learning what you and your rig are truly capable of.
Cool. The ultimate goal of any off-road tire design and every single driving technique is to maximize traction.
Grip, the magic word.
Simply the grip or friction of the tires on the ground. That essential force allowing your vehicle to move, stop, turn. The key to moving forward.
Without it, you're going nowhere.
On that deceptively slick rock section, despite its grippy name, we needed every bit of traction we could possibly get to avoid sliding sideways. Our aired-down tires delivered phenomenal grip.
Tires working hard.
My tires were starting to lose traction on that loose gravel climb, so I wisely engaged the locker to send power to both wheels. Immediately regained forward momentum.
Smart move. This raises that fundamental point. Traction is the force allowing a vehicle to perform any maneuver. Without sufficient traction, it's immobile or uncontrollable. Understanding how to maximize and maintain it through tire choice, tire pressure, driving technique, smooth throttle, careful braking, precise line choice is paramount for safety, control, and progress.
The most basic yet profound principle.
Influences every single decision you make on the trail.
Okay. At its most fundamental, your off-road adventure takes place on a trail.
The path itself.
Simply the unpaved path or designated route you follow, whether dirt, gravel, sand, or solid rock. Your designated road in the wilderness.
Where the adventure happens.
We spend an entire day happily exploring the winding forest trails near our cabin. Incredibly beautiful and profoundly peaceful. Just us and nature.
Sounds perfect.
Before heading out on any adventure, always check local regulations, which trails are open, vehicle types allowed, permit requirements. Recreate responsibly.
Tread lightly. Absolutely. What's fascinating is how a trail, while a path, is fundamentally far from a smooth, predictable road.
Always changing.
Dynamic, ever-changing environment. Constantly challenging drivers with unpredictable surfaces, varying grades, intermittent obstacles that change with weather and time. Each journey on a specific trail is unique, influenced by rain, traffic, natural events like rockfalls. It's the wild, untamed nature of these roads, the challenge, the surprises that makes off-roading so engaging. Always new lessons, new thrills.
True that. Finally, for this section, let's consider wheelbase.
Distance between the wheels, front to back.
Yeah, distance measured between the center of the front and rear wheels. Directly affects how a vehicle handles different obstacles and its overall stability.
Trade-offs here, too.
Always. A longer wheelbase typically provides a more stable, comfortable ride on highways. Great for road trips, but it can make navigating tight turns and cresting sharp, steep obstacles much harder on a technical trail.
Gets high-centered easier.
Exactly. Conversely, shorter wheelbase vehicles like older Jeeps are generally far better for navigating very tight, twisty obstacles and steep breakovers, though they might feel a bit less stable at higher speeds.
More maneuverable, right. Connecting with the bigger picture, wheelbase significantly impacts handling, especially off-road. Major factor in determining what terrain a vehicle excels on.
Influences breakover angle.
Critically, the ability to clear a crest without getting hung up. Shorter wheelbase often means better breakover angle, tighter turning radius ideal for technical rock crawling, tight maneuvers.
Longer wheelbase, better for high-speed stability.
Often, yeah. Better on high-speed dirt roads, steep climbs, but can make sharp crests and tight turns a real challenge. Understanding your vehicle's wheelbase helps dictate which trails it's best suited for and how to approach obstacles.
Know your dimensions. Okay, Moab. It isn't just a destination. It's a living, breathing character in the off-roading story.
Absolutely iconic landscape.
It's truly unique. Geology has given rise to its own specific vocabulary, describing features as stunningly beautiful as they are incredibly demanding to navigate. Let's delve into the powerful language of this landscape.
The language of the rocks.
First, a familiar feature central to Moab's dramatic scenery. A canyon.
Deep gorges.
Yeah, a deep, narrow gorge, typically one with a river flowing through it, or the dry bed of one, carved over millennia. A defining feature, visually spectacular.
Awe-inspiring.
We hike down into the depths of a hidden canyon for an incredible view of some ancient petroglyphs carved into the sandstone walls. Truly transport you back in time.
Amazing history there.
But always remember, flash floods can turn a seemingly dry canyon bed into a raging, destructive torrent in mere minutes. Always be acutely aware of the weather forecast.
Critical safety point in the desert.
Right.
Right. This raises the question about the immense geological forces shaping this region. Canyons in Moab are often carved over millions of years by rivers, flash floods, tectonic activity.
Revealing layers of history.
Exactly. Creating dramatic, sheer-sided landscapes, both beautiful and formidable, posing unique challenges and opportunities for exploration. Understanding their formation helps appreciate their grandeur and recognize potential hazards. Water can appear and disappear rapidly.
Good reminder. A common and often incredibly challenging feature you'll encounter on Moab trails is a ledge.
Those sudden steps up or down?
Yeah, a narrow, horizontal rock shelf or step projecting from a cliff or rock face forms a distinct, often formidable step in the trail. A common and demanding feature requiring careful negotiation.
Gotta place your tires just right.
That particular trail we were on ended abruptly at a sheer vertical ledge, absolutely requiring a serious rock climb for our vehicles to continue. Quite the challenge.
What makes you pause and plan?
Definitely. We did, however, find a perfect spot to pause and take some incredible photos on that wide, flat ledge overlooking the vast valley. Unparalleled panoramic view.
Worth the climb sometimes. What's fascinating is how ledges often represent critical transitions or significant obstacles, marking a distinct change in elevation or terrain.
Requires precision.
Meticulous wheel placement, careful throttle control, often strategic use of low range and lockers to ensure the vehicle can climb or descend without damage, losing traction, or rolling.
Miscalculation can be costly.
Easily lead to getting high-centered, spinning tires, or incurring significant damage. A true test of driver precision, patience, and understanding vehicle capabilities.
Okay. Another absolutely iconic landform you'll see prominently in Moab is a mesa.
The flat-top mountains.
Exactly. An isolated flat-topped hill or mountain with steep, often sheer sides. Affectionately described as a tabletop mountain. Stands majestically above the surrounding landscape.
Incredible views from the top.
Oh, yeah. From the very top of that commanding mesa, we could see for literally miles across the vast, sprawling desert landscape. Breathtaking and humbling.
Makes you feel small.
We spent an entire afternoon driving around the towering base of that impressive mesa, patiently trying to find a navigable way to the top to witness the sunset from its summit.
Worth the effort. Connecting this to the bigger picture, mesas are iconic geological formations common in arid regions like Moab, shaped by millions of years of erosion.
Remnants of ancient plateaus.
Typically, yeah. Where a harder caprock layer protected the underlying softer layers from weathering. Standing as stoic sentinels, they offer panoramic views from their flat summits. Hugely popular destinations.
Define the horizon.
Truly define the horizon in the American Southwest.
Okay. The very substance of Moab's incredible trails, the foundation of its unique landscape, is sandstone.
The rock itself.
A type of sedimentary rock formed from sand-sized grains, incredibly common throughout Utah, famously responsible for its unique world-renowned formations, including the arches, the fundamental building block.
Gives Moab its color, too.
Absolutely. The famous, intricate arches in Arches National Park are all spectacularly carved from ancient sandstone, patiently shaped by wind and water over millennia.
Nature sculptures.
You can literally feel the unmistakable gritty texture of the sandstone beneath your boots as you hike. Provides surprisingly good natural grip.
Right. This raises that important question about terrain interaction with vehicles. Sandstone, especially dry and weathered, provides surprisingly excellent friction for rubber tires.
Which leads to?
Which is precisely why the slick rock trails, despite their misleading name, are so incredibly popular and challenging for off-roading. The quartz grains create a uniquely abrasive texture that grips rubber remarkably effectively.
Allows crazy climbs.
Enables vehicles to climb impossibly steep grades and traverse intimidating off-camber sections that would be impossible on other truly slicker rock types. Makes for a unique, thrilling surface.
And that brings us directly to slick rock.
The famous stuff.
A specific term for smooth, weathered sandstone that, despite its name, actually provides truly excellent traction for rubber tires when dry. A uniquely grippy rock surface, a geological paradox.
Looks smooth, but isn't.
The famous Hell's Revenge Trail in Moab, a bucket list destination, is predominantly slick rock. Incredibly fun and challenging to drive on, offering steep climbs and controlled descents.
That's your nerve and your rig.
You honestly wouldn't think it, given the name, but slick rock is incredibly grippy when your tires are aired down correctly. Lets you confidently climb seemingly impossible inclines.
Yeah, what's fascinating is the misnomer's origin. Slick rock came from horses wearing metal shoes.
Which had no grip.
Absolutely none on the smooth, hard surface. But for modern rubber tires, its gritty, abrasive texture, full of microscopic quartz crystals, provides phenomenal friction when dry.
Enables incredible feats.
Climbing seemingly impossible inclines, descending steep slopes with control. This unique characteristic makes Moab's slick rock trails world-renowned. A signature, exhilarating experience. Pushes the boundaries.
Very cool. Finally, for Moab's terrain, we have the wash.
The dry riverbeds, usually.
Yeah, the dry bed of an intermittent stream, which crucially can transform into a raging, dangerous river during a flash flood. Essentially a dry riverbed most of the year, often flat, sandy, open.
Can seem like an easy path.
We drove down that expansive sandy wash for miles, thoroughly enjoying the flat, open terrain and the winding, unpredictable path.
I gotta be careful.
Always be extremely, painstakingly aware of the weather forecast when driving through any wash. Flash floods are absolutely no joke. Can turn benign crossing into a swift, devastating torrent in minutes.
Danger can come from miles away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, washes are ephemeral waterways. Silent, dry, inviting most times, but capable of immense destructive power during heavy rains, even far upstream.
Understanding their nature is crucial. Absolutely critical for safety in arid environments. Can transform rapidly. Drivers must be vigilant for signs of distant rain or upstream flooding. Represents the dynamic, unpredictable, sometimes unforgiving nature of desert landscapes. Demands constant respect.
Good safety tip.
Oh.
Okay, beyond the nuts and bolts, the majestic lay of the land, there's the vibrant, welcoming community that truly brings off-roading to life.
The people factor.
These last few terms aren't just definitions. They'll help you fit right in, understand the banter, appreciate the deep camaraderie that defines this adventurous lifestyle.
Speaking the language of the community.
If you're just starting out, you might, quite naturally, be referred to as a newbie.
We were all newbies once.
Exactly. Simply a person new to an activity, a beginner off-roader still learning the ropes, absorbing knowledge. Don't ever be afraid to admit you're a newbie. Most experienced off-roaders are genuinely happy to share knowledge, offer tips, help you learn.
Usually a very welcoming bunch.
As a newbie myself years ago, I learned an invaluable amount joining an organized trail ride with much more experienced drivers. Absolutely instrumental in my progression.
Right. Raises that important question about inclusivity. The off-road community, far from being exclusive, is often incredibly welcoming to newbies, understanding everyone starts somewhere. Safety and knowledge best shared openly.
Fostering learning, not gatekeeping.
Exactly. Encouraging safe, responsible participation, building confidence. Experienced folks often take pride in mentoring new off-roaders, ensuring the passion grows responsibly and safely for future generations.
Nice. You'll hear this one all the time, spoken with pride and affection. Rig?
What you call your truck or Jeep.
Yeah, slang term for an off-road vehicle, but implies so much more. Suggests a deep personal connection to a highly customized, capable machine.
More than just transportation.
That's an absolutely fantastic rig you've got. Is that a custom build? It's a common compliment on the trail.
Standard trail talk.
I spent countless weekends happily working on my rig, meticulously getting it ready for the next adventure, tightening bolts, checking fluids, adding upgrades. It's a labor of love.
Totally. What's fascinating is the profound personal connection implied by rig. It's far more than just a vehicle. It's an extension of the driver's passion.
Often heavily customized.
Tailored for specific terrain or adventures. Embodies the spirit of exploration, self-reliance, personal expression through mechanical prowess. The term rig conveys deep respect for the machine's capability.
And the effort put into it.
Often immense effort, dedication, personal investment in building, maintaining, perfecting it. A badge of honor in the off-roading world. Symbolizes freedom and adventure.
Cool term. Absolutely crucial for preserving trails and ensuring positive experiences is trail etiquette.
The unwritten rules of the road. Trail.
Yeah, the often unwritten but universally understood rules of respectful, safe behavior, yielding to uphill traffic, strictly staying on marked trails, meticulously packing out all trash, leaving no trace. The good manners of off-roading.
Respect the land and other users.
Always, without exception, practice good trail etiquette. Yield to uphill traffic, pack out everything you pack in. Leave no trace.
Keep trails open for everyone.
Understanding and diligently adhering to trail etiquette ensures everyone has a safe, enjoyable, sustainable experience, and that these precious trails remain open for us all.
Right. Connecting this to the bigger picture, trail etiquette isn't just politeness. It's absolutely crucial for responsible recreation and long-term preservation of natural spaces.
Minimizing our impact.
Respecting the fragile environment, other users, ensuring trails remain accessible and enjoyable for future generations. Off-roaders, hikers, bikers, everyone. Fosters community responsibility. Helps maintain positive relationships with land managers and locals. Vital for the sport's sustainability.
Well said. And finally, the energetic term for the activity itself. Wheeling.
Let's go wheeling.
Slang term for the entire activity of off-roading, encompassing the challenge, exploration, and camaraderie. Let's go wheeling this weekend. The weather looks absolutely perfect for hitting the trails, I always suggest.
Sounds like a plan.
My absolute favorite way to spend a Saturday is out wheeling with friends, exploring new paths, discovering hidden gems, overcoming challenging obstacles together as a team.
Right. This raises that point about the simple, profound joy and communal aspect. Wheeling encapsulates the entire experience. The exhilarating challenge, the deep camaraderie, the connection with nature, the satisfaction of overcoming obstacles.
That's all in one word.
All wrapped into a single, enthusiastic term resonating deeply within the community. It's the action, the shared passion, the continuous learning, the collective adventure summarized, speaks to the core of why we pursue this incredible hobby.
Love it. Wow, what a deep dive. We've truly unpacked 50 essential off-road terms today.
Covered a lot of ground.
From critical components like the transfer case and locking differentials, to the unique language of Moab's sandstone landscape and its grippy slick rock, even the unwritten rules of trail etiquette. A whole new lexicon for adventure.
Hopefully useful stuff.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, mastering this comprehensive vocabulary isn't just about sounding knowledgeable on the trail.
Although that's nice too.
Yeah. It's about unlocking a deeper appreciation for the intricate engineering, the dynamic dance with the terrain, the profound camaraderie defining the off-roading community. It's about empowering you to truly engage with the adventure.
Making you a more confident, safer, more effective, and responsible driver.
Our mission was to give you that shortcut, ensuring those surprising facts and aha moments made you not just smarter, but genuinely excited. So, what does this all mean for you, our listener?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
It means you're now ready to hit the trails, speak the language of adventure, and embrace the vast, challenging, utterly rewarding world of off-roading. Now that you have this linguistic toolkit, what new trail or off-road experience are you inspired to explore?
And how might understanding these terms enhance your confidence and safety on your next great outdoor adventure? Something to think about.
Definitely. Happy and safe wheeling.